Hi friends, David here from Learn Christmas Lighting, and today I'm really pumped because we're going to start back at the basic level. It's 2023, we're refreshing a lot of stuff on our channel for a couple reasons. The biggest and most primary reason why I want to talk today about how to create your first Christmas light display, how to start a Christmas light display, is because this hobby changes every year. It's amazing to me because, as many of you know, we run a business in the stage lighting world called Learn Stage Lighting, and we run Learn Christmas Lighting over here. Two different channels, two different focuses. And by and large, since we've been doing both for a number of years now, Christmas lighting and this hobby and the changes that happen in this hobby are much more than happen in the big stage lighting industry, even though it's a much larger industry. And so that's a good reason to start from scratch, to rebuild a lot of these videos. So let's do it. So the question today is, how do I build my first Christmas light display? How do I even begin with this stuff? Like how in the world does it happen? And to tell you the truth, it can seem overwhelming, right? Because there are a couple main parts to a display, and I want to go over those today, talk a little bit about it, and then in the following video, we're going to go deeper into those individual parts. Okay, so the first is that we have lights. Okay, so the lights that you get for a Christmas light display, for an animated Christmas light display, often look something like this. This is a big wad of them that I took off my tree the other day. Okay, and what's unique about these lights is they are pixel type lights, where each light can be something individual. Now, you may go, hey, I've seen that in the big box store, right? Because they carry lights like this. Oftentimes, those have proprietary controllers, or they're twinkly base, which is the proprietary controller. And they're not going to work with the kind of stuff we do. Not only that, but the quality of stuff you get for the dollar often it's just not like good quality stuff. And it's going to break, as you know, like pretty much any Christmas light you buy from the big box store, right? So we need lights. We got pixel lights, okay? Then we can't just plug these into the wall. Like if you look at these, okay, you look at these, even before we get there, you know, there's a plug on them. It's a little 3-pin plug. We call it an X-Connect plug, okay? And it's this little 3-pin plug here. You probably can't see it that well, with threads on it, that connects our lights to our controllers. So that's kind of the next point, is that these lights you're not going to plug into the wall because they don't have control built in. Okay, there's a variety of reasons why this is, but you're going to need a controller. Now, in the past, controllers looked a lot like this. They were a circuit board that you would buy. You would mount it inside of some kind of waterproof enclosure, add what we call pigtails in order to get the plug for the lights, and then a power supply, and you'd be off to the races. That approach is still doable today, but as we move into the future, I see a definite shift into people using controllers like these that are completely built, that you buy and you get a completely assembled controller. Or the same thing as this, you're just buying it from a company that's putting it together in what's called a ready-to-run type enclosure, okay? Can you, in 2023 and beyond, still build your own controllers, put them in a box, etc.? Yes, you can. But as we look into the future, and I've been looking over the past 2 years until now, the availability of ready-to-run controllers has never been higher. And the difference in cost between a ready-to-run controller and just a standard build-it-yourself controller, it keeps getting closer and closer together, okay? So for that reason, you know, still today, there's questions to be answered. This isn't going to cover it all, but it's going to get you started, okay? The next thing you're going to need is something to put your pixels in. You need a mounting material for your pixels. Why? Okay, this is just, you know, the million, you know, 30,000 foot overview. Why do you need a mounting material? Well, if you've ever seen these shows, and a lot of you guys have, right? If you're watching this video, you're brand new to this, you're like, hey, I want to do this year, then you've seen stuff like this, strips like this hanging on people's houses with all of these lights perfectly spaced, okay? Maybe you've also seen things like this. A light bulb face, actually this is a standing face, goes this way, where you go and there's holes in it and you push the pixels into it, okay, in order to make this shape of a light bulb. Now, why do we do that? That's a good question, because you say, why can't I just go and take these pixels, right? You know, we've got this string of pixels, and I'm just gonna start untangling them, and then I'm just gonna string them out on my bushes, on my tree, whatever, right? I'm just gonna string them out, you know, put these pixels, you know, wrap them around a tree, stick them on a bush, what have you. Why do I need something like this mounting strip? Why do I need something like these Coro props? It's corrugated plastic, hence the name Coro. Okay, why do I need this stuff? Well, what we do in Christmas lighting and in these awesome shows where you see, like, we'll pop in a clip here. Lights going perfectly to music and sweeps of color going across the house, animations going different directions, is we have to tell the computer that we're programming, more on that in a second, where every single light is. When we do that, we're doing something called pixel mapping, which means that the computer knows where every single light is in real life, or at least is fairly close. And so then when it plays an animation across all those lights, it looks good. It doesn't look like a scrambled, garbled mess. It looks really fluid. It looks like you wanted it to, okay? And that's why we have what we call props, these strips and trees and cardboard or corrugated plastic cutouts. We have these because they allow us to define where every light is spacing wise. In fact, you know, shapes like these light bulbs, you can actually download and import right into your software, right into X-Lights, which we're going to talk about in a minute, okay? And so when you do that, now that shape is defined, the computer knows where all the lights are if you put them in the proper order, and then you're good to go, okay? So be aware of that, okay? So really, when it comes down to it, I don't want to overwhelm you. I don't want to overdo it here, but the last thing you might see are DMX type lights. Now, we'll throw some video in here because I don't have one close, but a lot of people, and the trend has been that tons and tons of people are adding moving heads to their show. These add another element, and it's something that we're experts at here at Learn Christmas Lighting. It's something, because we come from the stage lighting industry, we're one of the top places to get those lights and get that advice, okay? Moving headlights are definitely a step above the standard pixels, and I would say learn the pixels first, add moving heads later. So when it comes down to it, as we said from the start, a pixel lighting show, a Christmas light display animated to music, takes a number of pieces. And yes, I've simplified it here, so those in the comments below that are going to say, hey, you said this inaccurately, that inaccurately. We're staying vague here. We're staying 30,000 foot view. You're going to need the lights. You need the pixels. You need some sort of controller to control them, okay? Inside that, for those of you that are going to comment below and say I missed stuff, oftentimes you're going to have power supplies and you're going to have a show player that's going to play the show built into that controller, okay? That's what we see going into the future. In the past, it's been different at times, but, you know, show players built into controllers, yes, for the future, okay? And then you need something to mount the props in. You need some computer software called X-Lights, which is free. And then last but not least, you may add DMX devices like moving heads, fog machines, brighter wash type lights to light bushes and trees, etc. And that's it. Sounds simple enough, right? Well, okay, maybe it's not that simple, but it's an amazing hobby and it's tons of fun. And if you want to keep learning about this, definitely subscribe here. Check out the rest of this playlist. If you're watching this as it comes out, those will come out in the subsequent weeks. If you're watching this in the future, check below for a link to the whole playlist. And then head over to learnchristmaslighting.com. Why? Because we've got a free guide we want to get into your hands. And it's called The 4 Things I Really, Really, Really Wish I Knew Before I Started with Christmas Lighting. We'll help you get started, get to know more about this gear than we cover in this video, and give you an opportunity to learn even more through our Learn Christmas Lighting Academy. Until then, we'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks.